I asked, and you answered. Today, we're going to be talking about how strong Super Godzilla is. A form that never made it to screen, but still managed to make its way into people's hearts. This power came out before Burning Godzilla was ever shown on screen, and in fact is the inspiration for Space Godzilla's design. So any statements regarding its power will thus be unlikely to apply to those later forms of media. However, the game did come out shortly after Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla dropped, meaning it's possible we can use that scaling for the game, as it is noted, at least in the original Japanese, that the monsters are based directly off of the Heisei film monsters. For example, Ghidorah is, Mothra, Batra, Biollante, and Mechagodzilla are the Heisei variants, with the Heisei weapons. This is interesting because base Mechagodzilla's diamond armor can actually be broken by Godzilla's super atomic breath, but not by the base breath. It just gets returned via the plasma grenade, same as the movie. The super atomic breath is the only base Godzilla attack that can deal any damage to Bagan too. Otherwise, his force field just passively blocks it, or he just takes no damage at all. However, Super Godzilla is able to fight on par with Bagan and actually deal nasty damage to him, eventually defeating the monster. This is important because that base Godzilla is actually much stronger. After being given Kingghidorah's cells, it specifically stated he got an amp of Kingghidorah's energy, so you could imply he's actually twice as strong as before, since in the start of the game he was able to fight on par with Ghidorah. And yet that means that even those two fighting together would do all of 2 damage to Bagan at best. We know that base Godzilla has a tough time fighting on par with Mecha Kingghidorah, but that Super Godzilla takes half damage and absolutely eradicates him. Official game's different statistics would have the multiplier at least 2 times, but this seems fairly low considering you need basically the Spire equivalent in the game to even touch Bagan and tickle him, whereas Super Godzilla's basic punches do more damage than this. Now for strongest statements, it is stated that Bagan is the strongest monster and enemy Godzilla has faced, so this should put him above Super Mechagodzilla. This would be consistent because Super Godzilla is also the strongest Godzilla at the time, which shouldn't put him above the Red Spire Godzilla who defeated Super Mechagodzilla. As for his speed, he just basically scales to everything in the Heisei series. However, maybe not Space Godzilla's full speed, considering that Godzilla got stronger and superior in every way and adapts over time. So the base Godzilla in Super Godzilla never fought Space Godzilla, so maybe he wouldn't exactly scale to his full speed. If you do a multiplier based on the differences in game statistics, or based on the fact it could be superior to even the Red Spiral Ray, Super Godzilla's multiplier could be anywhere into the thousands of times, or perhaps more. Though that said, it would still be inferior to the Burning Amp, as we know that it is stated later on to be a stronger form than any previous. And also it just kind of makes sense. Super Godzilla is a power that Godzilla's body could handle and control, whereas Burning is so powerful that it caused Godzilla to go haywire. Super Godzilla's game also shows that Heisei Godzilla was always capable of melee combat, despite what many people try to say. And if you take the American version, Super Godzilla may be a pseudo-composite of the Showa and Heisei eras at the same time, as we have Showa Mechagodzilla replacing his Heisei variant, and the official guides show him as well. Super Godzilla should then be capable of anything that Ghidorah is capable of since he has his cells. And we know that Ghidorah's cells gave Bagan his powers too, so it just follows. Apologies that this one isn't as long as the other Heisei videos, but Super Godzilla just kind of scales off Heisei's base in Red Spiral Ray in the Mechagodzilla movie, so he just scales above that version of Heisei. Not much really else to say. He has Ghidorah's powers, and he has some resistances that aren't quite in the movie. You could maybe argue that base Godzilla in the game is stronger than base Godzilla at the start of the Mechagodzilla film. As for Heisei inverse scaling, it's pretty consistent. He's able to one-tap Batra with a single blast. This is just consistent. Many Super Godzilla guys even show Heisei images when referring to Godzilla and the enemies. So again, this just makes sense. Well, that's all we have for now. See you next time.